continue our video on the editing the title block. Okay. In the last video, you have seen how we were able to modify the default title block. We're able to add more informations under the title block, project title, and then under this also. So we changed the font and all the rest, and you can see what we ended up with is different from what the default title block is. You can see the default title block. So we kind of ended up producing something that is quite different. Okay. Okay, we take things a little bit step forward, and of course, remember in this, we anyway just watch the last video to see how we started in that. So in this particular video, we're going to take things a little bit step forward. We're going to open up the default title block, and then we edit it and add the information, the title block informations ourselves. So that's what we're going to do in this, and then finally we will use it also in a project. Okay, so we go to bring up the default title block. You can always find it from File, and then you click on Drawing Title Block and Calculation Sheet, and then you click on Edit Title Block. Now this will bring the default title block so that you can be able to edit it. And once you have edited the default title block, you can always make a copy for yourself, and then so you can always use it all the time. So this time around, we want us to, first of all, we create the project titles. Okay, you can see that it's not there. So you can see we don't have it in. So we can create them, and then we'll move forward from there. Okay, so the first now we'll do will be to add a test. So this is my project title. Now to add a test in the software, you click on Homes, and in the previous video we used the kind of like the information from the title block info. The software use it to populate the default title block. So but this one we're starting from scratch. There's no information on all the rest. We're kind of adding it by ourselves. Then I can also copy this project title. I can copy it and modify it and change the text. Okay, I just want to put, but again, I will show you how you can add the text direct by yourself. So to add a text, you can just click on this, click on Insert Text, and then you can insert the text. So just click at a point, you can see it comes with a default text. So that is the text. Okay, and then of course you can edit the text. So now we just want to add the project title. So we can call this proposed building development. Okay, and then you press enter. Okay, so what we need to do is just to increase the width so that it will just make this like 10,000. Okay, so this is proposed building development, and then next, of course, we also we can change the font. Okay, so I will cancel this, and then select again, and then I will change the font. So I can use probably this one, or okay, you know what, let's use something different this time around. Let's see. Yeah, I'll use this font, but I just want it to be different, much more. Okay, yeah, this is better. Okay, so I can change the font size, say 20 or 22. Okay, so this is proposed building development. We can even make it bigger, to be honest. Say 24. Okay, just edit this. Okay, so Can reduce the width a little bit more. Yeah, so better. Okay, so that's the first line of the title block, project title. So I can just copy this and move it downward, or I could just add another text, but I prefer to copy just to make it easier for myself. So copy this, then push it downward. So I can put the name of the person that is paying for the project. Proposed building development for Mr. ABCD. Okay, and then okay, so just change this to 45,000. Okay, can make it a little bit smaller. 4. Okay, so that is that. I can also, if I want it to be in the same line with that, I can just move the start point to 2000. Okay, probably 4. Okay, and then so that is that for Mr. ABC. If you want to add another row, okay, if you want to add another text, you can do the same. Copy this and then move it downward. So again, make sure that the text is always within the title block, as you can see. So I will move this up a little bit, just okay, just a little bit down again. Okay, so the location now at city XYZ. Okay, so that's it. So that's 3,000 no, 3,500. Okay, so that's it. So that is the information I want to be in the title bar. And of course, I can click on this and move it upward a tiny little bit. Say 4. Okay, that's it. Okay, that having done, I can also go ahead and do the consultant. Okay, so I can copy any of this, copy this, and then can put it here. So the name of the consultant, can call it QS10 and design engineers. Okay, just adjust the weight. Okay, so that's QS10 design engineers. So 6. Okay, probably 10,000. Okay, so just take it down a little bit down, and yeah, a little bit more. No, so this is, so that's it. That's what we want. So QS10 design engineers, and then I can specify where the company is. I can actually select this, copy it down again. And then address, probably yeah, can still put the name of the address and the city here. Just say at, just for city, SZYD, doesn't matter, it can be practically any name, to be honest. Okay, so just reduce this to 5,000. Okay, a little bit more down to 4. Just adjusting the width. Adjust the okay. That is it anyway. So we have these two informations that we need. You can also bring in the company logo. Okay, could be we do that later. You can actually use if we go to, you can import test image. Okay, so you can actually import images into the software, and then you can use that to you can even say insert yeah, so you can insert image or you can draw image. So but we'll do that later. You can use that to bring in a company logo. We'll do that later. Okay, for the sake of time, we'll move forward. Later I will show you how you can do that, but it's possible. You can actually bring in a company logo if you have one. Okay, so the next thing is we want to enter the test for the drawn by, designed by. Okay, two ways I can do that. I can simply select what is there already, like this. I can select this and then copy it, move it aside, and use that as my drawn by. Okay, drawn by say could be SDS. Okay, and then I can also copy this down. That becomes my design by. Then copy this again down. That becomes my checked by. Then copy this down and then enter the dates. Okay, so say the date is April 25. So that is basically it. And of course we might want to change the font. Okay, so just bring up continuous selection, go on, then go to home, then change the font. I can use this font or I can use something totally different. Could be this one. Yeah, that's fine. So that is the font. So as you can see, we basically added all this information ourselves. So we are editing the default settings. Okay, so we're kind of like populating the information so that the whole idea is that by the time the software uses this title block that we have made now to create a title block, it will just, all from here downward is unchanged. The software does not do anything with them. It will just change the drawing sheet title. That's all. It will just keep changing. It will change this, it will change the scale, and it will change the sheet number. Just the three things that it will change. And of course, these three things, of course, need to be where they are. You don't have to change them, but you can change the font because you can actually make the font your own. So in that case, I will select all three of them and change their font. So I'll select this also, 3 items selected. Then I can change the font. Can use something totally different. I can use, just scroll down just to make it yeah, probably the Broadway. Okay, that's fine. That's a good one. Yeah, can use the Broadway. It's kind of yeah, I think that I just want to have that differentiation so you can see, what is possible. You can, really tweak things very well with the software. I can also increase this one. I can increase the font, say 24. Let's see. I'm sorry. Make this 28. Okay, a little bit too much. 26. I think better. Okay, so Now, this is important. That is the drawing sheet title. This is also important. Scale. This is the sheet number. Very important. These three items have to always be there, including, of course, the main title, that is the inner title, inner rectangle you are seeing, this inner rectangle. It has to always be there in every title block the software work with. You need to have the inner rectangle, you need to have the drawing sheet title, you need to have the scale, you need to have the sheet number, because the software work with these four items to produce your title block. Every other thing is not important, provided you have these four items and you set them accordingly. But we started off with the default title block. So that's why we don't need to set these four items. But if we have created our own title block, you have to set these items. I kind of like, we also encourage you to start off with the default title block and edit it. So as time goes by, later on, as you keep developing using the software, you can now go to the next level, which is, creating your own. But again, it's kind of like easier to start with the default setting. In fact, you can rearrange everything within the default setting. Okay, but make sure that you don't delete this rectangle, which is the inner rectangle. Let me zoom in, you can see it. This is the inner rectangle. This is where the drawings will be displayed. And of course, the drawing sheet title, the software will display the drawing sheet title here all the time. That is, I'll cancel this. So this is where it will always display the drawing sheet title all the time in this box. So it's very, very important. In this text box, in this test, so it will always display it here. Okay, so it's always good that you have that in all your drawing. Don't delete it. And then, of course, the scale, it always displays the scale of the drawing, and the sheet number, it always displayed here in this test. So you have to have these four components. That's why it's good. You can start off with the default and then edit it. But there are some times that you might need to set these four items. We will show you how you can do that, especially when you import from AutoCAD, or perhaps you create your own title block from the scratch. Okay, but again, better start with the default, because all we did was to open up the default title block, which is this edit title block. It will bring out the default, and then from there you can now make your changes. Okay, now we have more or less make this title block our own. Okay, the next thing we can do now is to save it and use it in a different project. So all we need to do is to select the title block. Okay, so we'll select the title block, and then you click on File and you click on Save Selected Drawing. I've said this before in different videos. This will save only the selected drawing. It's always a good when you want to select a bit of stuff and save it separately. It's always good to use that. Okay, we use this to save our title block. I'll call this title block 3. And this title block, you can always bring it into any project and you can use it. And that will become the title block for that project. Okay, so I will click Save. Our title block is saved. The next thing I will do now, I will leave this project the way it is. I'll open a new project. Okay, then from there I can now probably make a new model and then bring this title block in. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so we open a new project, so we can create a new project. Okay, so I can just make a simple model. Yeah, just bring in a grid. So this is my grid. I can put it here. Cancel this. Okay, can just make the grid a little bit fun. Delete all this. Okay, so delete, it's gone. So I could also mirror this. Select, then mirror it to the left, right. Okay, so that is my model. Okay, I could also yeah, we can just use this for now. Yeah, so I'll select this, and then I can make a model from there. Before I do that, I could actually just leave it a two-story building, 2 floors. Okay, and as you can see, I did not populate the title block information. I don't need to do that. Okay, so next I can now create my model. So go to auto generate floors. I can use automatically generate building structure from selected shapes. That's what we want to do. Click yes. So that is my model. Okay, I can actually delete this off. Don't need it anymore. Okay, so that is the model that we want to work with. Okay, so next I will bring in the title block inside this. I could actually hide the 3D. I don't need the 3D anymore. Just hide it. Okay, so the next thing now is we now run this design. But we'll have to so what we want to do is to bring in the title block that we have done before. So to do that, 2 ways you can do that. You can bring in the title block, kind of like insert the drawing. If we go to home, you can see insert drawing. Okay, they wouldn't use that option. We can just bring in the title block. Okay, just click on file, click on drawing title block and calculation sheet, and then I can click on import and set drawing as title block. Okay, so I'll go to title block 3. That is the latest one we did, and that's it. So we have imported the title block in, and then next we just have to delete off this title block. So click on edit, click on multiple select, then click and delete of the title block, because we don't, the reason why it displays the title block, let me just cancel this, but I need to move this down. Don't you have to always move it away from the floor model elements. Okay, so just move this down. The reason why we need to delete this off is, number one, we want the drawing not to be impeded. But again, the reason why it also displays this is that we could actually edit it more, add more things to what we have done. Okay, and then before we use it. But since we don't want to do that, we could just delete this away. Just click on multiple select, delete this off, and then delete. And then next we run automatic design. Okay, we run our design. That will be the next thing we do. Okay, so in that sense, what we need to do is to go and click design and then run automatic design. Okay, next we run automatic. So we'll click on design, click automatic design setting. And as I've said before, make sure you don't have anything in this field. Okay, just leave it empty. Okay, so we don't need this for now. We don't need this. And then just click start automatic design. Click yes. And then that is our drawing done. So as you can see, if we zoom in, you can see the title block have acquired the information from the title block that we imported in. It's just used everything as we expected. I will just remove this, the grid. I don't need the grid. So you can see title block is as we expected. So all that we edited just came the way they are. Okay, so you can see it's quite very easy to do that, and you can see our font is used. If you are working with the default, you can see this is how the default comes. But from what we have done, you can see we were able to take control of the title block. Okay, you can see foundation details, tests, everything comes as we expected. Okay, yeah, so that is the thing with the title block. Okay, and if you also look here, you can see that this is a little bit over the top. So that means that we might reduce the fonts that we used for the drawing sheet title. So because we increase the font, so if we reduce it, then it will bring it will come back in. Or can actually select this and just change the font because it's bigger. So we could actually reduce it. So make this yeah, we'll change the font of the text. So 24, see what happens. 22. So that's it. You can just change it yourself direct. Okay, so that is this is the second way you can actually import the title block and use it. You can see in this particular video we started off by editing the title block. So we open the default title block, which we brought up by clicking on File, clicking on Drawing Title Block and Calculation Sheet, and we click on Edit Title Block. Once we did that, and then we went ahead to add our own text, which you can add text by going to Home, and then you click on Add Text. It's also possible that you can enter the text you want to add first before you add it. You could actually do that. Okay, so that is the thing that we did, and after that we just copied the text and used it over and over. So which as another way to was what we did, and by the time we finished, doing everything, editing the title block, of course the next thing we did was to select the title and save it so we can have a copy. Next time you can open up that same title block, add one or two things. I mean, assuming if the project title have changed, just change the project title. What I mean by that is, let's say in the next work you are doing, and then you will be like, okay, you know what? I think the project developer title, the owner have changed. Could be say new project I'm doing, for instance. Let's say now it belongs to Mr. TYZ and not ABC. Just go back and change it in the title block, and then could be the city have also changed to city okay, this is at city. Now could be the city has changed to city AAD. Okay, that's it. Just change the city to city AAD, and just go back and change this to just to reduce it. Sorry, we need to increase it. Sorry, 4,000. So yeah, so that is city 8. That's our city AAD. So the city have changed. And then remember what we said before. Because we use a much more bigger font here, so we can just reduce the font from day one. So 24 appears to be okay. So that's it. So we have done this now, and then probably the date have changed. You can just click here and change the date. Could be it's now May, for example. You can just come back, change this to May, enter, and then could be the designers have changed also. Could be say it ASD1, ADS1, and then could be this also. Add one to them. These also have changed. Add one to it, and that's it. Can see without even bringing up the drawing, we have more or less have also modified the title block again. So this what we now need to do is just to save this. We can save it in a different page, in a different file again, and bring that file in. So I will select this, click on File, click on Save Selected Drawing, then give it a different name. I'll call it Title Block 4. Title Block 4. Then click Save. Okay. And then just go back here and cancel. Okay. So all I need to do to use this in the project, I mean, this is a new project, I just bring this in. So what I will do now, I will zoom. So just bring in the new title, but just click this to remove the drawings. Okay, that was the detailed drawings. Okay, so I will bring the title block in again. So I'll go back, and then I will use a different method this time. Okay, no, let's just continue. I'll go back. I'll click on File, click on Drawing Title Block and Calculation Sheet. Then I will import it in. Okay, so bring it in. So that is it. Then move it down. So select it. Then select it and then just move it away from, yeah, just move it down away from every other thing. Okay, so now I said something before that, the fact that before I use this, already it's imported in. Okay, but I could also tweak it again before I even use it. I could say, for instance, let's say I want to change the font for these guys, for the scale, okay, and also the sheet number. So I can select this and then continue select, and then select this again. I can, let's say I want to change the font before I use it. So I will select a different font, say this font, for instance, okay, and then cancel. Now I have edited it. Okay, before I will use it, I will have to set it as the title block now, because if I didn't do that, although technically it's still the same still the same object, so that will still work. Let's see. But if not, what we could have done is to now set this again as the default title block. But let's see. We have edited this. It's in the system. So let's see what happens. So I can actually select this. I can keep a copy, because again, whenever you make an edition, it's good to keep a copy, just for reference sake. I'll select this, then save it again. Call this 5. Okay, just call it 5. Title block 5. Save. Okay, then I will delete this off. I don't need it anymore. Delete. It's gone. So that's it. Cancel. So that's it. I can now run my design again. So go back to design, automatic design, start automatic design. Let's see what happens. And then that is done. Okay, so if we zoom in, so you can see. So we use a different font for this, and it worked very well. And if you also see that what we imported in here it worked very well. That's quite very good. That's what we wanted to happen. There are times that if you import it in, and let's say you have added some other things, okay, could be we will do that in a different video. Okay, so the title block is quite very open. That is the beauty of version 10. Because you can actually recreate the title block, you can start off, you can edit. I mean, it's quite a lot you can do with it, and so that your drawing does not need to look the same all the time, like the case we had in version 9, except if you're going to AutoCAD to apply your own editing. But within the software, most often the drawings kind of like ended up looking almost the same in version 9. But in version 10, it's open. I mean, no two drawing could be the same. You can always tweak the arrangement of the title block. You know, the next thing I will show you is the case where, let's say, you have added objects to the title block. Okay, let's say you're importing a title block, and then you add one or two things to it, and then that was what I wanted to do. When if you do that, the reason why I didn't do it here is that I just changed the font, so it's still the same object, only the font was changed. But if I have added, let's say I added extra lines, I just one or two things, then you might have to go and click on File, and then you select the title block, and then you say set drawing as title block. But since we didn't, all we did was just to change the font. Okay, so we're fine. So when we take the next thing up in the next video, okay, we start increasing the complexities little by little. Okay, yeah, but at the end, when you learn how to do it, it's quite very easy, to be honest. And as I said, you can always start with a sample and gradually, you know, adapt things as you go on. Okay, there's no rush. There's no, what is more important is the detailed drawing. It doesn't matter how the title block looks. What is more important is actually the drawing you are present, and that is what people cares about anyway. But the reason why we added all these variations is to just give people the opportunity to tweak things as they want, you know, adapt the title block, because there's more. The more the better, to be honest. Okay. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.